different parts of the state, people throughout this country, there's a sense of fear within the legislature, especially on her side of the aisle, and they acquiesce to her wants, and we'll see how long that lasts.
Hey, I'm Serena. How did you vote last week on the initiative to allow the governor and lieutenant governor to run as a ticket?
I voted against it. I believe in everybody's right to vote for whomever they choose. Well, we don't have any money, so there are no pet projects. And provisos are a necessity because they actually create law to a certain extent. For example, provisos allow for state employee furloughs, which people don't necessarily like, or you write teacher furloughs and provisos, which people don't necessarily like. But there are ways in which you control the budget outside of the use of numbers. But we don't have any pet projects because we don't have any money. The only time that we did have pet projects was we had a competitive grant program, which was how legislators got the ability to take something home. It was like $40 million. And as long as your project was like less than 100 grand, they would just approve it. But we don't have that anymore. So provisos are a necessity to a certain extent.
Bakari, do provisos trump statutes?
Do provisos trump statutes?
Do they override an existing law?
They can cancel existing law.
For a year,
equal,
right?
For a year.
What about
it's a statutory suspension. That's what it is. Something you don't like, you throw it in the budget. Because the budget is supposed, you can only control for a year in the budget. The budget is a year-long document. Resolution. It's not even a bill. Well, it is a bill, but it's a year-long bill. That's it.
Do provisos trump the Constitution?
Nothing trumps the Constitution.
My name is Kelsey. What's your opinion on eliminating the Budget Control Board and replacing it with the Department of Administration reporting to the governor?
You should ask Nikki Haley that question. Last 2 weeks ago, we tried to give Nikki Haley the Budget and Control Board. She didn't take it. We created a Department of Administration which has all of these, like Office of Minority and Small Business Affairs and all this other stuff. But it does not have the Budget and Control Board in it. And we sponsored, Democrats tried to put a resolution up, an amendment up to say, if you really want it, we'll give it to you. And she didn't want it. So the Budget and Control Board is what it is. It's a unique animal. Because when we're not in session, the Budget and Control Board runs the state. 5 members on the Budget and Control Board. Your Comptroller General, your budget writer from your Senate and House, and the state treasurer and the governor. They wield all the power.
What will it take for Republican and Democrat legislators in our state to have more common sense conversations to move our state in a better direction?
Do you mean to tell me that we don't have common sense conversations now? One of my friends tried to, Lee Bright tried to change our state currency to gold. No, excuse me. That was Mike Pitts tried to change our state currency to gold. Lee Bright tried to put together a study committee to develop a new currency for the state of South Carolina. Just for us. And, I don't know. Maybe we need some better legislators. Why don't you run? Who asked the question? Ruby? How old are you?
14.
You got 7 years. And then you can be a part of the discussion yourself. How about that? You know how many women we have in the South Carolina General Assembly? 17.
Not enough.
They're all in the Senate. I mean, they're all in the House. We have 17 out of 124 in the House. And we don't have any in the Senate. Out of 46 senators, there's not one female senator. Christian.
I'm optimistic about the next generation of public servants. My fellow classmates and me will soon be making decisions that impact our daily lives. What advice can you give us as we start on life's mission?
Just dream big and dream with your eyes open. That's easy. That's an easy question. And just remember and understand that you can do anything you want to do. You can be on school boards, You can run for mayor of Lexington. You can run for the House, the Senate, or you can start a nonprofit. I mean, it doesn't matter. Just continue on your knowledge acquisition journey. You go to school and college if you want to, or the military, if some of you all decide to do that. And just be, whenever you do, just be extremely good at it. Be the best. Are there any questions that are not on this? Yeah.
Did you say Medicaid is in the Constitution?
No.
Is it forces people to have insurance?
Forces people to have insurance?
Yes.
Medicaid doesn't force people to have insurance. It gives people an alternative to have insurance, because if you're in poverty, if you're below a certain level of poverty, I don't know what the Medicaid rules are in South Carolina. I used to know, but we try to raise it every, maybe 250% of poverty, thereabout. You can sign up for Medicaid. You know what I think is unconstitutional in America? Somebody who has a lump in their breast but cannot go get a mammogram because they don't have insurance. I think that's unconstitutional in America.
Well, me and my dad watched like the Daily Show, and they said that I think it's the Republicans or something that were going against like Planned Parenthood and stuff.
Yeah, Planned Parenthood is a different animal in that Planned Parenthood performs abortions, and there is a because of Roe v. Wade, abortions are a right in this country. But there is an argument on how you sculpt that right and how you can pay for it, whether or not you can pay for it with federal dollars or not. And Planned Parenthood is it's a federally subsidized program. There are a huge population on the right that are pro-lifers. I mean, we have some pro-lifers in the Democratic Party as well. And one way that they can reach their ultimate goal is just by eliminating places whereby you can have abortions and cut federal dollars to Planned Parenthood. Yes?
What was it like going to high school at such a young age?
It was okay. I mean, I was like 5'8" my freshman year, and I was like 6'2" my sophomore year, so it didn't really bother me too much. I blended in quite well.
So no one knew you were like 12?
Nah, except the people I went to, elementary, middle school with, but the larger school, nobody really knew. And only a few people knew I was 16 in college. And it's crazy.
Was Morehouse hard?
It was hard, but it's a high level of expectation when you go to Morehouse. You got to think about the alums that graduated from Morehouse. I mean, Samuel L. Jackson, Spike Lee, Edwin Moses, the Olympian, Julian Bond, David Satcher, the former Surgeon General. We've had presidents of Coca-Cola, and Herman Cain, who was a black Republican. He was I don't know, some CC's Pizza or something like that. He was a founder of one of the pizza chains. Me. Actually, one of my good friends, this is cool, in Morehouse, you run into a lot of people, like Rudy went to Spelman from the Huxtable. She went to Spelman right across the street. But one of my good friends was J.D. Washington in high school. J.D. is the oldest son of Denzel. So he played football, and we were really close, and we still chat on BBM on a regular basis.
Didn't he, Denzel, didn't he give y'all the lights?
He gave us lights, yeah. And it was just $100,000 check. He got that. Yeah. He's a nice guy, though. He's a nice guy.
Isn't Oprah a big donor to Morehouse College?
Oprah is a very big donor. Oprah came and gave us a candlelight dark. She might have given us like a $5 million check or something. We don't have any buildings on our campus named after women at all. And we won't name a building on our campus after a woman. That brings me to my next point. That Bill Cosby tried to give us like $10 million to name a building after Camille. And we gave it back to him.
Why?
Because we don't name buildings after women.
Why? Why?
Because we're all male campus. And we don't necessarily, I'm not going to say we don't need it, but we have probably the second or third largest endowment of any historically black college behind Hampton and Spelman. So I'm not saying we're in a position where we can do things like
I never read the immigration bill, but is